I remember thinking, this is nice. Just me. No one to answer to. No one to wait up for. My parents were gone for the weekend. I had the whole house to myself and I was genuinely happy about it. I made tea. I put on something stupid on TV. One of those cooking competition shows where nobody actually cooks anything interesting. I had my blanket. My phone was charging. The front door was locked. I checked it twice, like I always do. Everything was exactly the way it was supposed to be. That's the thing about that night that still gets me. It started so normal. I went to the kitchen around 9 to make more tea. That's when I saw it. A footprint, right there on the kitchen floor. Muddy. Distinct. The kind you make when you've been outside in wet grass and you don't bother wiping your feet. I stood there for a second just staring at it. And then my brain did what brains do. It started explaining it away. I must have made it earlier. I was in the garden this afternoon. I probably tracked it in and didn't notice. I grabbed some paper towel and wiped it up. Told myself I was being silly. I made my tea. I went back to the couch. I didn't think about it again. Not for another 20 minutes. The light in the upstairs hallway started flickering. I could see it from the living room. That little strip of light under the hallway door at the top of the stairs going on and off. On and off. Slow at first, then faster, then slow again. Old bulb. That's what I told myself. This house is old. The wiring is old. Everything in it is old. Bulbs flicker. That's just what they do. But I didn't go up to check it. I told myself it was because I was comfortable. Because I didn't want to get up. Because it wasn't worth the effort. The truth, I didn't want to go up there. And I didn't want to ask myself why. My friend called around 9:30 just to check in. She knew I was alone and she's like that, always checking in. I was actually relieved to hear her voice. We were talking about nothing. Genuinely nothing. Some drama at work. A film she'd watched. Whether or not she should get a cat. Normal, warm, easy conversation. And then mid-sentence, hers, not mine. Silence. Not the silence of a dropped call. Not the crackle and cut of bad signal. Just silence. Like someone had pressed mute. I pulled the phone from my ear and looked at the screen. Full battery. Full signal. The call timer was still running. It showed we were still connected. I said her name. Nothing. I hung up and called back. It rang out. I told myself the network was glitchy. I put the phone face down on the cushion next to me. My hands were cold. I hadn't noticed until just then. I don't know what made me get up and check the front door. Some instinct, some itch at the back of my neck that I couldn't scratch away. I walked to the hallway. I reached for the door handle. It turned. Just like that. No resistance. No click of a lock. It just opened. I stood there with the cold night air coming in through the gap, and I could not process what I was looking at, because I had locked that door. I always lock that door. It's not a habit. It's a compulsion. I check it twice every single night of my life. I locked it again. Deadbolt this time. Chain on. I stood with my back against it for a moment, breathing. Someone could have come in, said a voice in my head. Don't, said another. I went back to the living room. I did not sit down. I was standing in the middle of the living room. I don't even know why I was standing, I just couldn't make myself sit. When I heard it, a creak from upstairs, from directly above me. Slow, deliberate. The kind of creak that a floorboard makes when something with weight shifts on it. One creak, then another, then silence. I didn't move. I don't think I breathed. I am standing in the living room. I am the only person in this house. I checked the door. I locked the door. There is no one upstairs. The light under the hallway door at the top of the stairs flickered once and went out. I went to the kitchen and I took the biggest knife from the block. My hands were shaking so badly I nearly dropped it. I stood at the bottom of the stairs for what felt like a very long time. I want you to understand something. I am not a brave person. I have never claimed to be. Every part of me was screaming to grab my keys, walk out the front door, and not stop walking. But my phone was upstairs. My keys were upstairs, and some stubborn, stupid part of me needed to know. I put my foot on the first step. The house was completely silent now. No TV, no hum of the fridge, nothing, just the sound of my own breathing and the slow creak of each step as I climbed. The hallway at the top was dark. The bulb had gone completely. I used my phone torch. Wait, no, my phone was downstairs. I had left it on the cushion. I kept going anyway, in the dark, with a knife. The hallway felt longer than it ever had. My bedroom door was open, just slightly, maybe 4 or 5 inches, enough to see a sliver of moonlight from the window inside. I pushed it open with the tip of the knife. Empty. The room was completely empty. Bed undisturbed. Window closed. Nothing behind the door. Nothing under the bed. I checked. I got on my hands and knees and I checked with a knife in my hand like an absolute fool, and I did not care because I needed to be sure. Empty. I sat on the edge of the bed and I laughed. Actually laughed. This shaky, breathless, embarrassed laugh. The kind you do when the adrenaline has nowhere left to go. Old house, I thought. Old wiring. Old floorboards. Unlocked door I must have forgotten. A footprint I made myself. I stood up. I turned around to leave. And that's when I looked at the floor. The muddy footprints. I had wiped one up in the kitchen, but there were more. A trail of them, faint but there, leading across the bedroom floor. I followed them with my eyes. They didn't lead to the window. They didn't lead to the door I had just come through. They led away from the closet. I looked up at the closet door. It was closed. I know. That closet door was open this morning. It is always open. I leave it open because the latch is broken and it swings shut on its own if you close it. So I stopped closing it years ago. It was closed. The footprints came from inside it. Whatever had been in my house had been in that closet. And at some point, while I was downstairs making tea and watching television and telling myself everything was fine, it had come out. I backed up until I hit the wall. The knife was up. My whole body was shaking. I wanted to call for help. My phone was downstairs. I had left it downstairs. I wanted to run. The only way out was past the closet. I stood there, watching it, waiting. And then, slowly, silently, with the kind of patience that only something that has been waiting a very long time could have, the handle began to turn. I haven't told many people what happened next. Not because I don't remember, because I do.